Good evening, race fans, and welcome along to TrackSpotTV. It's the Tasman Racing League Road Series. It's round number 7. Where else would we be? We've been to Daytona, Spa, Adelaide, Phillip Island, Road Atlanta, Monza, and Virginia. We are off to the spiritual home of multi-class racing since 1920. Long before my birthday, before any my date of birth, before any of the rumours start. Thank you very much. It is, of course, Le Mans. Cannot wait for this one. Good evening. My name is, of course, John Wright. I'll be joined in the box this evening by one Mr. Boone Blake. Once again, we'll be taking you through all of the action from tonight's race, and the race details finally do appear on screen. We've got a 15-minute open qualifying session for the drivers, followed by 15 laps around an 8.4 mile track, of course 13.6 kilometres long this one, and the drivers, they get to start at night. We will witness a French sunrise at the start of the race. Absolutely cannot wait to see how this one pans out. We have lots of competitors out on the field, and none more competitive than the man that's only just won his first race here at Tasman Racing League. Again, greatest interview ever recorded, and he joins us once again in the commentary box. It's Mr. Boone Blake. Good morning it is for you, Boone, or very late at night. We've got Le Mans this evening, and a championship that is coming right down to the wire with only a few rounds left. Should be a very, very, very interesting race tonight.
It should be a thriller, John, and just taking a look here at our current Road Championship standings, I'm just trying to get them pulled up, but as far as I understand, it is a very, very close battle. Louis Buhadra, I believe, out front in our championship at the moment. Yeah, if we can get those up right there.
Yep, there we go. We've got them up, and yeah, as you say, yeah, Buhadja, he's got a 12-point lead over Webber and only a 9-point lead over Oscar Dobbins, so it is very, very, very close between the three of them up at the top of the field, and it is going to carry on, I would say, for the rest, although tonight could be a big game changer with the course that we've got in such a long distance for the cars to make it back to the pits, should they have any incidents, which I think we will see a couple of tonight.
Absolutely. This is a track. I was speaking to Lucas Blake, my brother, and a driver who's running this race on not much practice a little bit before the race, and this is a track that's really going to benefit drivers who have had the chance to practice more. So many corners here, such a long course, so much to remember, and of course the added challenge going from night into day halfway through the race. It's going to be a very challenging race for those who haven't had much time to get out and practice.
Indeed it is, indeed it is. Just to confirm as well, there is an auspicious gap, an auspicious gap there down at the bottom of the standings in 19th. That is Rafael Custodio. For some reason, he is in the server, but he's dropped off the standings. Douglas, Heath, Newton, Scully, Justice, Pattinson, and Walker all inside the top 10. We can see Scully and Justice both on the same points, and Pattinson is only 1 point behind them. 14 points in the rear to those three drivers is Martin Walker, rounding out the top 10. And there's a bit of a gap back to Patrick Robinson. Ben Christian in 12th is only a point behind Robinson, with Drew Collins only 5 points back, and Samuel Meader a mere 3 points back as well. Incredibly close in sections throughout the standings. David Noden in 15th, Bradley Austin in 16th, Zach Bliestra, that's not easy to say at 9 in the morning, in 17th, Shannon Corbett, Rafael Custodio, and Jordan Nelson rounding out the top 10. As I mentioned, the drivers, we've got an open qualifying session for them to get out there this evening, and it's actually almost like twilight, so yeah, let's jump over. Yes, we are in quali, and we do have a few minutes left, so we'll jump over if this will work. There we go, we're a bit sticky today, but we'll get the qualifying information up. There is the race info. Oh, no. There we go. So there's the qualifying that we've got so far. And it is one Nicholas Heath who is on provisional pole. with 4 minutes left to go. Our main championship protagonist, Matt Webber, not set a time as yet. Lewis Buhagiar, not set a time yet either. Have a good go of it in qualifying yesterday in the ovals. In fact, invalidated both his laps with minor wall touches. He'll be hoping to avoid touching anything other than the top spot today. We've still got some serious racing left to go on the calendar. Of course, we're off to my spiritual home, the Red Bull Ring. It really is one of the best tracks out there. We've got Road America still to come. And of course, it wouldn't be an Australian League if we didn't have the season finale at Bathurst. So some tricky tracks still to come on the standing. Here comes Buhagiar through the final couple of corners. He is being chased in qualifying by Matt Webber, so they're both going to set a time right on top of one another. Buhagiar at full green sectors, goes provisional pole. Does Matt Webber have a response? No, he does not. Wow, surprised by that. So Webber still with no time set as Buhagiar takes provisional pole. Let's see.
Here comes Heath, though.
Oh, here comes Heath.
Not quite.
Oh, he's purpled the final sector, though. He has improved on his time. That's pretty close. I mean, a tenth of a second over 8 miles.
And that was about 9/10 of a second faster for Nicholas Heath than his previous lap that had him on provisional pole earlier. He's going to be right there in the mix with Buhagiar, and I would say perhaps keep a look on Darren Justice here. He seems to be on a bit of a fast lap coming towards the line.
Yeah, nice. If you want to keep an eye on that, we've got another driver that slipped off the championship, so I'm going to go and see if I can find him. Ronald Long. Let me see if we can get you added, sir. No,
Justice goes only... Sorry.
Go, bud.
Justice goes only 8th fastest there. But Adrian Gretsch goes 3rd, and Martin Walker has gone 4th. And Nicholas Heath now running 2nd place, and he's set a purple Sector 2 and a green Sector 1. So Heath on the hunt against Lewis Buhagiar, looking to take back that provisional pole with... I'm not sure how much time we've got left in qualifying here. I would imagine about 10 minutes.
1 minute 5 seconds.
1 minute 5 seconds. Okay, a lot less than I thought. So Heath, I'm not sure... No, he's already on his flying lap. He's good. It will be interesting to see. Buhagiar, he's on a lap. It doesn't look like he's going any faster, though. Webber's on a lap. It doesn't look like he's going faster. Walker's on a lap. It'll be interesting to see if anyone else can get around and maybe set a time to dethrone one of Buhagiar or Heath from the top spot. But right now it looks like it's going to come down to what Nicholas Heath can put together on this lap. And that's not encouraging news out of Sector 4 as he goes yellow, but Kyle Douglas now going purple in Sector 4. Could Douglas insert himself into this battle for pole position as time runs down?
Indeed, yeah, we're getting right to it. We are at the business end of qualifying. There is Douglas there. So he's still got a bit to go, but yeah, he's got... Wow, so Heath is ahead of him on track. Oh no, sorry, he is ahead of Heath. Heath has got 2 green sectors and a purple and a yellow. Douglas has got 1 green, 1 purple and 2 yellow. Matt Webber at the moment is all yellow, but he doesn't have a time set as yet, so he just needs to get himself a time set. And he's going to be starting outside the top 14. Another minor change to the format of the races tonight as well, folks. In true Le Mans style, there will be no rolling start. It will be a standing start for tonight's race, which is going to be an interesting proposition for the drivers. Of course, the rolling start would leave some of the drivers in those final 2 chicanes, and that is a massive disadvantage for anyone that's stuck back there. So it will be a standing start this evening. Will it be a standing start with Nicholas Heath or Kyle Douglas on the very top spot? Lewis Buhagiar has just picked up a slowdown penalty from provisional pole, so that is going to be his qualifying done and dusted. And Matt Webber still showing no improvement, but he does... Whoa, and that is very nicely done there. Absolutely wringing the neck out with that, Kyle Doug. We'll see what he does across the line. He's just coming into the final couple of corners now. Past the pit entrance into aforementioned final 2 chicanes. Let's see what he can do across the line. Douglas takes the checkered flag in qualifying and goes 7th place. So that's good enough for 7th. Nicholas Heath is off the side of the track. It looks like we are just about done. Brodie Daff is still out there. You can see just how dark it is out on track. I can assure you in practice it was much darker. We were checking out the LED strips to figure out which car was which, so the sunrise will be welcome for the drivers and for ourselves, so we can see what is going on. Daff and De La Rosa still out on track. These are going to be the last 2 to set a time. Douglas is still out there, but he is not on a valid lap, and in fact he has just completely invalidated that with a slowdown, so even his little practice lap at the end has gone sideways. We'll jump on board with the some gratuitous on-board Ferrari shots. The difficult long left-hander, so much interaction with the curbs around here, and the post curbs, of course. Post curbs, oh, the car-carrying killers. We'll see how many drivers survive them tonight. Let's see what Daff can do in qualifying, though. He has got some good green sectors under his belt. A couple of yellow ones as well. Joe De La Rosa, who's just behind him, also on a decent lap here. Let's see what we see across the line. Oh, and he's violently over those curbs. Manages to throw the car over. And it is Brodie Daff. Pops himself up to 12. No time for Webber.
No time.
Webber, he's going to be starting outside the top 16. That is a big ask around this course, Boone.
Absolutely, and Webber, as we've noted a few times throughout this season and last season, as we see a bit of a spin there for the Lamborghini of Joe De La Rosa, that's going to be his qualifying done, and I believe that's likely to be qualifying done for everyone. But this is going to be a monumental ask of Webber. We don't know how much practice time he's got, but typically we've seen that he's rapid, absolutely rapid in clean air, but he may struggle a little bit when having to work his way through slower traffic. So it's going to be the most impressive win of the season if Matt Webber can come all the way through the field and win this one.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be no mean feat at all. Of course, they're going to have pit stops as well to navigate, another wrinkle that the drivers have to worry about. We will get the results up in a moment. I'm not sure if someone is stranded out on track, but I can confirm it is championship leading Lewis Buhagiar that's taking the top spot. Nicholas Heath's going to join him on the front row. Gretchen Walker will be joining. Will be starting from row number 2, and confirmation Matt Webber will be starting in 19th position. Out with 25 cars, so he has got a lot of work to do, and he has got quite a few cars behind him as well, including Oscar Dobbins, who did not get a time set either. So Dobbins is going to be starting outside the top 20. Interestingly, Boone, while we'll wait on the quali results to appear, Dobbins and Webber. Now that's a battle that we are more than accustomed to, just not outside the top 20. It could be interesting to see these two either make their way through the field or end up battling away. It's an interesting decision for the two of them. Do they fight for the position between themselves, or do they potentially work together along some of the long straights to try and catch up to the rest of the field? It's going to be an interesting dynamic between two very competitive drivers who are down at the back of the field.
Well, I think they're both going to want to maintain track position on each other, because at the end of the day, they're locked in an extremely tight championship battle. But obviously, the driver who this just completely plays into the hands of is our pole sitter, Lewis Buhagiar, the third driver in that championship battle, the current championship leader, who's just seen his two main rivals qualify outside the top 15 and fail to set a time. This situation could not have possibly worked out any better for Buhagiar. The only thing he's got to do is keep it on track, and he should be guaranteed to bring home a huge haul of points here. But for Dobbins and Webber, they're both going to be down on Buhagiar after this race most likely, so that makes it even more important, in my opinion, to try to make sure that you get points on the other guy and keep yourself in second in the championship battle.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there is the qualifying times. And we're starting grid. Buhagiar and Heath on row 1, Gretchen Walker on row 2. Then it's Pattinson and Custodio row 3. They'll be followed by Douglas and Scully on row 4, Justice and Tilley rounding out the top 10. Then it's Ronald Long and Brodie Daff 11th and 12th, and David Carney and Greg Goodfellow 13th and 14th. Lucas Blake starting in 15th position ahead of Zach Vliestra. We'll get there eventually. Newton and Webber on row number 9. Dobbins and De La Rosa rounding out the top 20. And the grid not wanting to move. There we go, it does indeed. So yeah, Dobbins and De La Rosa rounding at the top 20. Then it's Jay Stern, Ben Christian, Jordan Nelson, Jack Tovey and Dale Horn. That is several drivers with no time set. 8 drivers not getting a time set. That just shows you how difficult a course this is. And the drivers are starting to make their way on to the grid. This is going to be a very interesting start indeed. As far as the pit strategies go, Boone, what we're looking at here, I mean, it's 15 laps, and I would think that the majority of the drivers are going to look to get at least past the halfway mark. The last thing you want to be doing here is taking a bit of an early pit stop, I would say, or have I got that one completely wrong?
I think that we're going to see most drivers take their pit stops a little bit towards the middle of the race or perhaps slightly after. But I think that Lewis Buhagiar in recent weeks has certainly shown us that there can be some merit to taking an early pit stop and just trying to run all the way from there, as our lights are on here, so we're going to have to stop talking about that. We've got 5 red lights on here and 5 lights out, and we are away. It's going to be, looks like Lewis Buhagiar with an excellent start off the line. Nicholas Heath has had a very, very poor start from P2, and we've got cars around at the back. We have, looks like, a couple of BMWs, and we've got one of the Mercedes sliding at the front. There is chaos here. There might be a safety car. It looks like it is Rafael Custodio plummeting down the order from a very good starting spot there. Unfortunately, he has caught the worst of some early lap contact, and we had a couple not lapped cars, but a couple cars towards the back of the field. Looked like they got mixed up pretty much before we could even get going. A chaos-filled start there, but it's Lewis Buhagiar, Adrian Gress, Kyle Douglas, Tim Pattinson, and Martin Walker, your top 5 getting away here. Nicholas Heath.
Webber's round. Webber's round. He's made up 7 places, and he's just been tapped in the rear. Webber is round. He is... Oh, his car's absolutely annihilated. I think that's the only one we can use here. Jay Stern was the one that was caught up in the original incident, but that is Matt Webber, who gained 7 places at the start. He's now down 1 place and behind cars that have got drive-throughs and slow-down penalties, so it's quite an interesting start. We'll try and get some replays on what happened there, but we'll jump back up to the battle for... Oh, the final 2 podium positions. The 2 of them are going to take one another out. They do indeed. That is not the way to do it. Adrian Gretsch and Kyle Douglas making contact. They have completely binned themselves. Lewis Buhagiar, he might have had a bit of a rough day at work, but it's certainly not a rough day out on track. What a start he's got. We are barely a few corners in, and he is already 2.2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field with everything that's going on. And Stephen Scully looks like he's about to get an overtake done on Darren Justice potentially. We'll bring up the battle box as well. Ben Christian, he's got a drive-through. Nicholas Heath as well. He got caught out massively at the start. That one slipped under the radar. Driver dropping from P2. He now finds himself down in 20th position, getting a move done on Goodfellow potentially. That car doesn't look very stable. He's not carrying much damage into the first chicane. So many incidents have happened there. We've got drivers that are still pretty close. And Oscar Dobbins, he's survived unscathed as well. He's made it up 9 spots to 10. Dale Horn has made it up 13. Let's see if we can get a quick look at some of those early incidents. Jay Stern was most certainly involved. Let's see what's going on here on the start line. There you can see he's got that. Oh, yeah, he had to slow up because the car's ahead, and he's taken a fairly substantial rear end contact there. Then Brodie Daff, just a bit further up the start finish straight. Oh, yeah, cars moving left, right, and centre. He had to take avoiding action. and he ends up sideways, a non-rolling roadblock across the side of the track. We then had Jack De La Rosa, Joe De La Rosa and Ben Christian get involved as well. Oh, and that is Nicholas Heath going round, and that is De La Rosa. Oh, he gets double spun. The second contact actually straightens him out and sends him in the direction he was looking to go. There's one with Adrian Gretsch. As we can see, this is the contact between these two, so they'd already made contact briefly. He's just lost the back of that car, goes across his competitor and ends up in the wall. Unfortunately, we don't have anything marked for Webber's incident. Greg Goodfellow was the driver that was involved in that stramash on the start-finish straight, and it looks like he's about to be involved again. Oh, he takes a void in action. Heath on the brakes. Oh, and wow. It's been a while since I've seen the underside of a Porsche. I haven't built a Lego one of them for a while. Oh, and Oscar Dobbins. As we've been watching the replays, Oscar Dobbins, who has had a phenomenal start to the race. He's on his own in the Porsche. Oh, and the back end of the car's just gone. Cheeky little pirouette across the sand and ends up perpendicular to the barriers. Could not be worse. He's got to reverse onto the gravel, then onto the tarmac, then back onto the escape road, then get himself back into line. It's a whole lot of thens and a whole lot of positions dropped as we jump back to the live action. No, we don't, because David Carney has had himself an incident in the final chicane. Oh, wow. Yeah, can't park there, mate. Yeah, he's just taken it off-road, so I'm not sure if he's had some kind of technical issue there. Beautiful livery, unfortunately not doing the pace of the car much good. Wow. The pit lane hasn't been this busy since the start of the session. We've got 3 slowdowns and 2 drive-throughs out on track, and all the while we've got Lewis Buhagiar, who is now 3 seconds ahead, Boone. We will take a second to catch our breath here before we look at more replays, although Jeremy Newton has just put an absolute worldie of a move on Steve Scully out of the second chicane on the back straight, and that is a very nice move indeed. Greg Goodfellow and Dale Horn both receiving meatball flags. Of course, the mechanical black flag, that means the car must be brought in to be repaired. So 2 in on repair stops, 2 in on drive-throughs for breaching track limits. The stewards are having a busy day today, Boone. We did think there would be a couple of incidents. I'm not quite sure I expected the start to be quite so chaotic, and Lewis Buhagiar is in absolute dreamland here with a 3.5 second lead 2 laps into the race.
No, that is one of the most chaotic starts that we've seen, I think, ever in the TRL, and as you said, this could not have worked out any better for Lewis Buhagiar. His championship rival, Oscar Dobbins, is in 20th place. His other championship rival, Matt Webber, is in 13th place. They're both far away behind him. But it's just been chaotic, and it's been so chaotic that we've seen drivers both live and die off of this chaos. Dale Horn was up 15 places from 25th to 10th at one place in his race. Now he's all the way back down to 24th. He's got to climb that mountain all over again. It just goes to show how quickly things can change here at Le Mans. It's a track that most of these drivers aren't overly familiar with, and it's an unforgiving track just because of the scale of everything that you have to remember. So I wouldn't be surprised if the incidents continue, John.
Yeah, it is indeed. Le Mans is Le Mans for a very good reason. If you've never seen Ferrari v Ford, or Le Mans 66, depending on which hemisphere you live in, make sure you do. Christian Bale does a phenomenal job of explaining just how difficult this track is, like the opening here. Hasn't given us a good idea. Let's get the driver info, because that is Jeremy Newton, who is on screen at the moment. He's got Justice and Walker not too far ahead of him. Buhagiar is just stretching that gap out. I'll tell you what, let's get a quick camera shot of his Porsche. There he is there. If he keeps up this pace, we're unlikely to see him again until the end of the race, because he is absolutely moolering it out there. He's got carte blanche to just keep it between the mayo and the mustard. He is absolutely pushing on those track limits, though, as you would expect. Championship leader doing championship leading things. He did say he felt good going into the rest of the championship with the rest of the tracks. He will be grinning ear to ear, especially as he is one step closer to winning the end of season bet that he and I have. I am suddenly regretting my choice of words last week after the post-race interview. He deals and sets the fastest lap of the race with a 3:55.2. Pattinson comfortably in second place at the start of the fourth lap, with Walker not so comfy in third. He has got Justice and Newton very close, and in fact Justice going for it around the outside, looks to take the inside into the first chicane, and he does so very nicely indeed. That Lamborghini looking absolutely planted, and that is a good move by Jeremy Newton to continue his rise through the field. He is now the largest gaining driver out on track, 13 places as we can see there. Oh, as Jordan Nelson comes in to serve the drive-through as well. Kyle Douglas and Matt Webber battling for 11th position at the moment. We're going to stay on board though, I think, with Jeremy Newton, because he looks like he fancies himself another overtake here. Beautiful shots from inside the Lamborghini, and you can see the rear view mirror as well as he tears along this straight. This is going to be another Porsche put to the sword before we even get to the Porsche curves, although the Porsche doing quite well on a straight line, but here comes the Lambo. They're going to get into this first chicane. Newton looking for a position. He's much later on the brakes. The Porsche, wow, really not looking convincing there, and Jeremy Newton nails an absolute worldie of an overtake through that first chicane. He is not messing about today, Boone. That's another position taken, and Jeremy Newton up 14 spots. We've seen drivers up and down the field like absolute yo-yos, but Newton, as Yaz would say back in the day, the only way is up for him at the moment in the Lamborghini, but he does have a nice little 3-car train following him, with Stephen Scully looking to take some positions here as well.
And I might recommend to Jeremy Newton that he consider running some oval races. He's moving around at the front of that pack like he's trying to block lines at Daytona or Talladega. Might want to try some super speedway racing there, Jeremy. But I don't know if we're going to have a highlight reel at the end of the season or something. But if we do, that overtake is going to be on it. That was fantastic, brilliantly committed stuff from Jeremy Newton on the brakes, almost into the back of him. But just a perfectly executed overtake, and he's going to reap the benefits of it if he can get away from them here, which now he's extended the gap out a little bit. I think Newton's going to start to breathe a little easier in that podium position now.
Yep, I think he is. Completely agree there. He is stretching himself away. Walker, Justice and Scully still battling away. Matt Webber's just picked up a slowdown penalty. Lucas Blake has just come out of the pits. I feel like we need some kind of teleprompter to keep up with everything that's going on. There's overtakes, there's crashes, there is someone in the pits. In fact, there's no one in the pits at this point. This is the longest period we've had with no one in the pits and no one in the wall. Touch wood, we'll see how long they survive. Coming into one of the trickier parts of the course, bang on the brakes. Look at the Porsche open up, trying to get that cutback as Scully here in the Ferrari. I'm definitely not biased towards Ferraris, 100% am. Oh, and he's gotten very close to that Martini there. That was almost shaken, not stirred, as they exited that corner there, but Scully keeps it out the back. Dale Horn is into the pits to repair some damage. That is on lap number 3, so the drivers in and out all over the place. And the superlatives are going to run dry, and I am going to have to eat some humble pie. Lewis Buhajar absolutely nailing it up at the front. That gap now over 5 seconds. So he is absolutely running away with it. Pattinson has got a 2.5 second gap, 3 second gap in fact, to Jeremy Newton in third, but that is tumbling. Newton up 14 places, started in 17th, didn't get a time set, and that may have been the strategy. So that's maybe what we missed, Boone. We saw Dobbins, Webber and Newton not set a time. They all made advances through the field. They were slowed a bit by a couple of contact, but 2 out of those 3 are still prospering pretty well, with Matt Webber just outside the top 10, Jeremy Newton in third. Dobbins is back where he started in 19th after taking a pit stop, but certainly Jeremy Newton in the opening exchanges, you've got to say his drive more than equaling, I would say, Buhajar, because Newton's had 14 cars and several incidents to make his way past, and he has done it without even breaking a sweat. He's probably as calm as a coma in there, and he is very much closing in on Tim Pattinson up at the top there. And Pattinson's picked up a slowdown penalty, so Jeremy Newton is absolutely rubbing his hands together now, Boone.
Well, Jeremy Newton might be the only realistic chance we've got left of avoiding Louis Buhagiar domination in this race. And I think that Matt Weber, who's currently in the pits, he's dropped down to 14th place, and Oscar Dobbins will both undoubtedly be cheering for Jeremy here. First, he's got to get through Tim Pattinson, though, and he's closing that gap rapidly. But as we know, it's a little more difficult to overtake than it is just to close the gap down. We saw Matt Weber close that gap down rapidly on Kyle Douglas in the last few laps, and then he just couldn't seem to get around him, and ultimately he ended up coming into the pits. We saw Lucas Blake close the gap to Rob Tilley pretty rapidly, couldn't get around him, ended up coming into the pits. So it's going to remain to be seen if Jeremy can get around to Tim. But even if he does, it's like a 7-second gap to Louis Buhagiar at this point. He's going to really have to put his foot down or do something different on strategy to get up there. But I think he's our best chance.
Yeah, at the moment he is, and he's already, with Tim Pattinson picking up back-to-back slowdown penalties. The gap between Newton and Pattinson is only 0.7 of a second. We're watching Justice at the moment. I did think we were going to see some Porsche action, and Justice managed to back out of that one. He wasn't quite close enough, realised that. He is following that old ethos: to finish first, you must first finish. Every decision you make must ensure your car's survival to the end. Because remember, folks, as well, these cars, there's a lot of carbon fibre. I mean, they're pretty much held together with super glue, hopes and dreams, and I can confirm none of those survive first contact with another car or any of the walls around the track. And I'm going to jump back onto Jeremy Newton because he's about to get another overtake done. He sets up for the switchback, gets the door closed on him very fairly there by Pattinson, but it's cost Pattinson a bit of time. Newton is going to try and go around the outside on the brakes, and he's managed to make that stick. Wow! How has he done that in the Lambo there? I mean, I know that Pattinson has set him up to try and get the cutback done, but that is another worldly of a move by Jeremy Newton. He is absolutely on fire. 15 places. He's up to second. The gap is currently 8.2 seconds between him and the race leader. It doesn't look like this battle's done yet, though, because Pattinson hanging right into the slipstream, and just behind him, Walker and Justice. Here you can see they're following line astern as well. Pattinson looking to hold on to the charging Newton. Not a bad place to be in Newton's slipstream. Let's just, if I was Pattinson, I would be very happily following Newton, picking up a few tips on where he is. What's happened to Buhagiar? Louis Buhagiar went off track. That was Louis Buhagiar. That is Lewis, all on his own, up at the front of the field. Oh, and he's gone for a Tony Hawk 50-50 rail slide on those curves. He's spun it, he's put it into the wall, he's handed Jeremy Newton the race win here, and that is an incredible turn of events, because there goes Newton, and there goes Pattinson. And for all the life of me, at this precise moment in time, if you're asking me who's now going to win this race, I'm saying Jeremy Newton, because Buhagiar, he is in the pits to get that damage repaired and take his pit stop, and Jeremy Newton is saying goodbye to the rest of the field. Boone just beautifully highlighting how quickly it can go wrong around this unbelievably difficult and technical track. Race leader in the pits, and he is tumbling outside the top 10.
Just an unforced error, the likes which we very, very rarely see from Louis Buhagiar, and he's got to be kicking himself at that. A golden opportunity to extend his championship lead over his two main rivals here is gone, and he's going to be lucky, honestly, to even finish ahead of either of them. I do want to say, though, while I have a moment, it seems like we've had something happen to Lucas Blake, knowing, unfortunately, the state of his internet connection. I imagine most likely he's had a disconnection there. But it seems like he is dropped completely out of this one. Very unfortunate for him, as he was running well inside the top 10 prior to that. Oh yeah, he is out the server actually. When we click on his name, it takes us to the emergency camera. So yeah, connection issues. iRacing really do need to sort out their netcode in their servers, it has to be said. We'll jump back on board with some battles here. It's Adrian Gretsch, Kyle Douglas and Rob Tilley. Tilley, another driver who's survived the opening exchanges. He's got himself up a couple of spots, and he's got Kyle Douglas ahead of him. Let me bring up that and that. Don't know why it keeps disappearing, but there we go. Confirmation on screen.
Rob Tilley, big shout out to him every week. He is the one that makes the opening videos here at TRL. I was just saying to Boone before, anytime I'm chilling out of an evening, I do like opening OBS and just watching and listening to his videos. Absolute banger tunes and some great videos as well. So huge thanks to Rob for the opening videos, and thank you for the overtakes we're potentially about to see. Oh, curse of the commentator. He's just picked up a slowdown. So that's going to separate him from Douglas. That'll give Douglas a bit of breathing space to try and operate a move on Adrian Gretz to get himself up to 6th position. Lewis Buhagiar is back out of the pit, our pole sitter, now running in 11th place. He's got Dobbins in 16th and Webber in 8th. And in fact, I'm looking, it's Matt Webber that looks like he's about to make an overtake. So the points deficit is still going to go in, the points difference is still going to go currently in the favour of Buhagiar. He is a few positions ahead, but it certainly won't be anywhere near the astronomical leap forward he was looking to take with the runaway race win that he had within his grasp. A third of the way in, he finds himself in 12th. His other two championship rivals currently running 16th and 18th place. It's Matt Webber that we're watching at the moment. He's trying to find his way past Joe Della Rosa. It is indeed Della Rosa. You would think that Webber will get this one done quite quickly. He's already taken a pit stop. Oh, and that is track limits, surely. He's going to need to be careful with that. There's another slow down penalty. It's David Carney this time that's picked one up. Kyle Douglas looking for the overtake on Adrian Gretz to get to 6th, and Darren Justice still piling the pressure on Walker. Here comes Webber though. Is he quick enough and got enough pace to get side by side into the second chicane on the back straight? He is indeed. Not much of a battle there put up by Della Rosa. I think he realises that's a much quicker driver. So yeah, better to pick your fights, pick your battles. You can see Webber absolutely flying through that chicane, and I tell you, for Webber and Dobbins, it would have been very easy for them to let the head drop a bit with the qualifying position, and then those incidents have dropped down. But now that Buhagiar has joined them outside the top 10, this really could give a new lease of life to Dobbins and Webber to try and catch back up. I mean, it was looking pretty bleak up until the start of lap 4. It's a very, very different lay of the land for all three drivers in the championship now.
Well, that was going to just be an absolutely huge haul of points for Lewis Buhagiar, and he's trying to bring himself back up the order, and surely he will have some success in doing so. I expect him to finish well inside of the top 10 in this race, but once he gets past David Carney, he's got something like a 14-second gap up to Brody Daff, then 8 seconds to Rob Tilley, then 12 seconds to Kyle Douglas. Just the gaps at this stage in the race, it's not going to be very friendly to Lewis, as we see David Carney now come into the pits, which is going to move Lewis up into the top 10, but he's still got a long way to go, almost 16 seconds up to Brody Daff. It's certainly an opportunity for Dobbins and Webber if they can make a few positions up to make this almost a net zero race in the championship. It was looking like their championship hopes were going to be, if not over, they were going to be on ice a little bit coming out of this one if Buhagiar could hold on to that dominant win. But this is it's blown everything wide open, John. This is so exciting because all three of our championship contenders are nowhere in this race.
Yep, it's absolutely wild how things turn around. There's another slowdown penalty. This time it's Adrian Gretz. We've just seen Ben Christian taking a slowdown penalty as well, and what that's done is given Nicholas Heath a solid chance to catch back up. Heath, one of the drivers, he's picked up another slowdown penalty. That's 2 slowdown penalties in the space of 4 corners for Ben Christian. There's Ronald Long picking up a slowdown penalty as well, and Heath looking to get himself back in the top 10 after starting in 2nd place and getting caught up in the opening straight Stramash. Not easy to say at this time in the morning. He finds himself charging back towards the top 10. They have a huge gap to make up to Buhagiar, but at the moment it is Heath who's on an absolute charge along this back straight. He is fully in the slipstream. It's McLaren v McLaren as they head into the second chicane, and we'll see, and into the first chicane, sorry. We'll see if he can get anything done. No, not quite close enough, and that is Rafael Custodio who for some reason is missing off our overall standings page, but he is definitely not missing out here on track. He's got a couple of seconds to make up to the drivers ahead. We've got potential overtakes happening up ahead, as well as Adrian Gretsch trying to get his way past Douglas. He's got very little front end on that car with the contacts that he's had so far. You can see he's, whoa, and the Porsche has just touched that inside curb. I did say this is one of the trickier parts of a very tricky track, and that is how quickly it can go wrong. And Adrian Gretsch is surely, well, no, with the damage he's got, he's really struggling to get past at the front there. So as soon as he pulls out with the slipstream, because he's got very little on the front end of that car, as we can see, the top end speed completely obliterated. The air not moving smoothly over the car, and Gretsch has got himself an absolute monster battle to try and get past Douglas. I'm falling over my words because they're going so quickly and the action's coming that thick and fast. De La Rosa has just gone past Gliestra, and Jeremy Newton's come into the pit 6 laps in before the halfway mark, so it just goes to show what I know about race strategy. It's a good thing I hide behind the microphone, because that is Newton in before the halfway mark. Pattinson, Walker, Justice and Scully all following suit, so none of them fancying a lap in the lead, and they're all in the pits, and these two coming in as well. Wow, so 7 laps in just before the halfway mark, Boone. Everyone making their way into the pits, and with the drivers that have already pitted, this is going to massively shake up the order. And yep, here comes Rob Tilley coming in. Brodie Daff is the next one to head towards the pit entrance, and he's coming in as well. So yeah, the drivers just before the halfway mark. It looks like there's some kind of group decision being made, and everyone piling into the pits, as I say, just before the halfway mark. Been so an interesting one. I did think we'd see a few drivers go a bit long, but that doesn't seem to be the group decision here this week.
Well, I think this is a fuel-informed decision. That seems like why they're coming into me, because we've seen Louis Buhadra keep going. I imagine we're going to see a couple of the other cars that have already been into the pits, maybe. Or, no, Buhadra hasn't been into the pits, though, so I'm not sure.
Oh, yes, he has. Yes,
fuel.
He came in for the damage,
oh, he has?
I think. Let me just check and see if we can bring that up. Yes, Buhadra has been into the pits, yes, and he was stationary for 29 seconds, so he repaired damage, changed tyres, and put fuel in. Imagine he gets back on the podium. Insane.
He could. He's got the pace for it. He has a huge amount of pace in this car, and he's got a completely 100% no damage car right now, so he absolutely still could get up there. He's currently running in second position, in fact. We've seen from Buhadra so far just outstanding pace, much more than I think anyone else in the field. I'm very curious to see now what Jeremy Newton can do in completely clean air if he could try to hold off Buhadra. This little battle here, even though they're off pit strategy, I think it might very much be a window into what's going to happen in this race.
Yeah, I think it is. We've still got this battle going on. Oh, Gretsch, that's not Gretsch, that's Kyle Douglas. That is going to be looked at by the stewards, I can assure you. That is, yeah, that is not the type of weaving we want to see. Is he warming up his tyres?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That is remarkable.
It really is, and Adrian Gretsch is going to say thank you very much into the first chicane. No, he's not. The Porsche is going to come right back at him. How is he managing to do that while warming up his tyres? Oh, and he's almost a rolling roadblock on the exit, though. It's going to be the Mercedes. Comes absolutely firing out. They're going to be side by side, and Douglas has picked up a drive-through penalty. He's picked up a slowdown penalty for his troubles here. But that did to me, and again, we are not stewards. We do not make the decisions. We only give our opinion based on an initial look. But initially, that did look like some dodgy weaving he was doing on the straight there. It's certainly not the type of thing you would encourage at the fastest part of the track, I would say, Boone.
No, that's generally just not a safe maneuver to make. It's all well and good to try to break the slipstream of the car trailing behind you, but just weaving back and forth, cutting off the runs like that is something that is generally frowned upon. It's worked out for us that time. Hopefully it's not something that we see again, but I imagine that either way, Matthew Searle, our live steward, is going to be having a little look at that.
Yeah, I think he is going to be having a little nosy. We're on board with Darren Justice. The battle was taking place. He's got Walker ahead of him and Scully behind him. Can't quite see Scully in that rear view mirror. Gretchen Douglas are still within 0.4 of a second. That's going to be an interesting one through the final couple of chicanes. Scully, and as we can see, sorry, it's Darren Justice that we are on board with. It's Martin Walker, banging his way down the gears. Porsche v Porsche here. I'll be building one of these in LEGO soon as well. Happy days. But yeah, 4 tenths separating them. Kyle Douglas and Adrian Gretsch separated by 2 tenths. Heath and Custodio separated by half a second. Lewis Buhagiar is still 2 seconds behind. Let me just bring up the previous lap times. Okay, so yeah, Buhagiar on his outlap 4:47. Newton with a 4:027 because he was on a flying lap, but that gap is closing. There really is no stopping Lewis Buhagiar in that Porsche. It's always been a bit of an underpowered car, certainly in ACC and iRacing. It looks like they've got the balance of performance absolutely bang on. In fact, we might need to throw a few extra sandbags into Lewis's car just so the rest of the field are semi-competitive with him. His main championship rivals, quick update there, Dobbins and Webber, 14th and 15th, they're only separated by 1.7 seconds, the two of them with very, very, very similar pace. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We're still on board with Justice though, across the start-finish line, heading up the tricky hill into the first chicane. He has a little bit of a lift there to see where his competitor goes, banging his way down the gears, and I tell you what, this is slowing them up because there is Stephen Scully that is appearing in that console rear view mirror that you can see plumb in the centre of the screen. You can just see the tail end of that Martini livery as well. That is a classic livery you love to see. It really does fit on any car. Custodio is going for it on Nicholas Heath. Oh no, they've had a contact. There has been a contact there. I'm not sure. Oh no, this is the Kyle Douglas incident. So Kyle Douglas has had himself an incident after trying to warm the tyres up. He comes into the first chicane and unfortunately doesn't make it out. Oh, he's ended up parking on the curb. Yeah, so there's what happened to a few of the drivers, having to split the difference and go either side of him. Such a tricky place to get caught out, especially with more cars coming through. Plenty of runoff. Oh, and Buhagiar's picked up a slowdown. Buhagiar has picked up a slowdown, so that's going to stem his charge on the trickiest part of the track as well, on that long straight. So he's going to need to scrub this through this chicane into the left, around to the right, keep it nice and neat. The gap instantly jumps up to 2.4 seconds. He drops that penalty very quickly indeed. Brodie Daff on Kyle Douglas. There's Ben Christian picking up a penalty as we see more cars picking up the slipstream and looking for the moves. Brodie Daff right on the back of Kyle Douglas. Oh, and Dobbins and Webber are having a battle. Somebody please pick a battle for us to watch, but we'll watch Webber and Dobbins, two of the main championship rivals. Douglas does have that slowdown and Brodie Daff gets that move done. There's confirmation. Brodie Daff getting the move done on the beleaguered Porsche driver. Douglas has got to get rid of that penalty. Dobbins, Webber is trying to get rid of Dobbins. There's only 3 tenths between them as Vliestra picks up a slowdown and Greg Goodfellow picks up a drive-through. Like I say, we're going to need a teleprompter to keep up with everything that's going on. Walker, Justice and Scully still battling away for 4th position. Lewis Buhagiar still battling with the track limits. Oh, speaking of track limits there, Oscar Dobbins absolutely annihilating that curve on the way in. Does manage to avoid a penalty. Let's see what Justice and the gang are doing. They're going to go side by side through the Porsche cars. They've got the Ferrari of Stephen Scully, who's got a phenomenal view of this battle. The three of them absolutely inseparable as Dobbins picks up a slowdown penalty. So that's Dobbins picking up a slowdown. I did think he was a bit close to the curbs there. The track limits on the way through that chicane, and it's picked him up. A slowdown penalty. Martin Walker and Darren Justice. Or is this going to be a Scully double overtake? It's Ferrari versus Porsche. Porsche is going to go side by side. This is going to give Scully carte blanche to throw his hat in the ring. He'll hitch. Oh, he's horsed at one of these wagons, and I tell you what, that is Justice making a very good run through the corner there. Walker not quite got the driving line that he wanted, and Scully has very much got the slipstream that he was. How has he kept that Porsche in check there? That is wild. We've also got Kyle Douglas and Brodie Daff, who are absolutely still going in it. Douglas not deterred by that slowdown penalty. He's coming straight back for another crack to try and get himself up to 12. He's got the car up the inside line. He's not quite close enough this time around, though. You do get the feeling he's just sizing this one up. Scully on Walker, definitely still a thing. Adrian Gretsch has just picked up a slowdown penalty, so Nicholas Heath will close that gap there. And who's going to get the overtake done first? Oh, and that is Clumsy. He's run a bit wide and he's taken them both out. That is both cars now facing completely the wrong way. As we'll jump back up to Stephen Scully. We're 9 laps into this one, and the drivers, it seems, Boone, still trying to get to grips with the camber of the track. We're still seeing a couple of clumsy contacts. To be fair, unfortunately, Dobbins has just gone past Daff as well. Wow, so Webber and Dobbins have just gone past Daff and Douglas after their mistakes. Scully still hunting down Walker, but yeah, the overtake attempts not quite the cleanest here. A couple of contacts in here and there, and the drivers are still absolutely yo-yoing up and down the order at the minute.
Absolutely, and if I had to guess as to a reason for why we've seen a little bit more contact, or clumsy contact, avoidable contact than we normally would, I think it's just the size of this track. With the amount of corners here that drivers have to keep memorized, they're not going to know every corner as well as they would on a shorter track, and when you don't know every corner as well, incidents are going to be more likely.
Yep, they really are, and the drivers, yeah, I almost feel sorry for the stewards. I hope they've got a couple of spare pencil sharpeners, because they are going to be doing a lot of work on that. Lusek in the chat, 'twas dark indeed. Big ups to Dave Carney for his best quali yet. Yeah, we saw Carney coming to the pits. He has unfortunately dropped down a couple of positions after the pit stop, but he is still certainly out and running, and definitely in the lead as far as best livery goes. Absolutely love that thing. But yeah, he is currently running in 17th place, and there's Kyle Douglas picked up another slowdown. Oh no, it's a drive-through. It's a drive-through. Not sure if that's from race control or in-game. He certainly has had a few slowdown penalties, so it could well be from the in-game stewards that he's got. That 16 or 17x, I believe it is, and you get yourself a free trip through the pits. Of course, it's a prize that no driver wants to win around any course, let alone this one. Rafael Custodio and Nicholas Heath. Now this could be an interesting battle. Heath, of course, starting up in second place, tumbled down the order, and I'll tell you what, he's not got a good exit there at all. I'll tell you actually, Boone, that might be something else that's hindering the drivers. That when you're on board in the cockpit here, in fact, I'll tell you what, we'll come back to that thought in a second, because the Mercedes is positioning himself up the inside. Nope, he's pulled back into the slipstream, not quite got the pull to get past Heath at this time around. But certainly that sun coming through the window as a driver myself, I can confirm, and I'm sure you'll testify to this one as well, Boone. Sometimes the graphics on these games can be a little bit too good, especially when they're simulating the sun, and there's certain corners you come round and you're just hit with a face full of sunlight, and it's very difficult to see immediately in front of you. So the beautiful French sunrise itself could actually be playing a bit of a part into some of the incidents that we're seeing here today.
Well, these drivers would like that beautiful French sunrise to get over with, and for us to get into a beautiful French morning with the sun high in the sky where it is not bothering them. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have time for that in this race. 10 laps gone. Looks like about 5 to go as we see Louis Buhagiar set the new fastest lap, but he's still 2.4 seconds off the back of Jeremy Newton at the front. That's going to be the battle to watch, but Buhagiar struggling to find the pace that he had in the completely clean air earlier. He's not been able to make his way up onto the back bumper, that 42. This is just such a difficult track to push at, though, like you mentioned, with the sun and with the lack of familiarity with the corners, and with everyone just starting to drive a little bit harder now with 5 laps to go. I do not think we're done with incidents by any stretch of the imagination. As for Kyle Douglas, as we see, before we talk on Douglas, we see Zach Leedstra sliding off the track through the grass, saving it temporarily, and then unfortunately sliding down to the inside again and pulling into the pits there. That's going to drop him down the order. He's currently sitting just inside of the top 20. Kyle Douglas now into the pits with that black flag, and he's going to pull out of the race, looks like. That black flag, I would imagine, was steward issued. I would guess that he was found at fault for the contact with Brody Daft that sent both of them spinning. Just unfortunate for Douglas, a driver who had a good amount of pace in this race. It looked like he was going to finish in the top 10 for a while. Unfortunately, it just did not materialize for him today.
Indeed, yeah. Too many flags. And yeah, he actually did have another crash on the way into the pit lane to serve that drive-through on Lewis Buhagiar. He is overdriving the car at the moment. He can see victory just ahead of him with 4.5 laps left to go. He is 8/10 off our race leader, Jeremy Newton, who is looking to... I think this would be the best performance of any driver this season. If he makes up 16 places, fends off Buhagiar and brings home the race win, Newton will be buzzing ear to ear, and that is an absolute landmark result, or could be a landmark result, and it's one that Buhagiar looks keen to help him secure with another drive-through penalty, with another slowdown penalty, so he is racking up the X's at the moment, and he could end up getting himself an in-game drive-through if he is not careful. I said this a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of the younger commentators didn't quite get what I meant. Not a phrase they've heard, but a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Buhagiar currently in second place. He could push for the race win, but in the grand scheme of things, second place is still more than enough to massively extend his gap, given that Webber and Dobbins are currently 12th and 13th. Now, this is the non-competitive driver, myself, saying I would be happy to hold back. Let's see what Custodio can do on Heath, and in fact he's going for it up the inside. We'll come back to the Buhagiar train of thought as the Mercedes positions himself up the inside. Nicholas Heath, who started on the front row of the grid, is being overtaken now by Custodio in the Mercedes. They're going to race to the braking zone, and it's going to be Custodio that is going to make it there first. No, he's not. The McLaren's going to go right round the outside. So much more grip there for Nicholas Heath. Full commitment from him to hold on to that position, and yeah, this battle's not going to be anytime soon, but certainly Buhagiar. Oh, Jeremy Newton's just picked up a slowdown penalty. Oh,
so has Buhagiar.
Oh, so has Buhagiar. What is going on?
Something happened to Newton last lap. Buhagiar was briefly within 0.6, 0.7 seconds. He had to serve a slowdown, dropped back to about 1.8. But that's still like 0.7 seconds taken out of Jeremy Newton on that last lap. And now the gap sits at about 1.5 seconds with 4 laps to go. Newton is by no means out of the woods yet. He has got to be sweating bullets in that Lamborghini.
Oh yeah, he absolutely will be. Both drivers fully committed to bring home the race. Well, as I was saying, Buhagiar at the moment, he's got 10 places separating him from his nearest championship rival, but that's not enough for him to be happy with. He wants that race win. As Adrian Gretsch picks up a slowdown, Martin Walker closing in on Justice, and Custodio.
Oh, so Buhagiar's had a moment. He's had a problem.
Oh, yes, he has. Let's get a replay of that. Oh, and the back end of the car's gone. That is a 180-degree spin. Oh, he's facing the wrong way. He's trying to get the tyres up. That's a cheeky little smoke screen to hide behind. But yeah, Buhagiar, that monster moment there, pushing to get himself up to first, and all he's done is give Tim Pattison a very good run. Stephen Scully's just had an incident as well, so that's Scully just gone off track. In fact, let's have a quick look and see what's happened there. Up through the first chicane. Wow, that is a strange one.
That's a strange place to see the car lost. I think that may have had something to do with the amount of gravel on the track behind him there.
Ah, okay, yes, because yeah, that was a strange place to lose it. On the way up, certainly, but once you've crested that hill, it's just that foot down and away you go. So A strange one there for Scully that sees him off track. It's Buhagiar, who's just on an off track. He's now 12 seconds behind Newton. He's gone from 7/10 behind to 12 seconds behind after that spin. And he's got Tim Pattinson now chasing him down. We are not done with the action yet, folks. We've got 3.5 laps left to go. Martin Walker looking to get past Darren Justice. That's Rob Tilley just picked up a slowdown penalty as well. And that's put Matt Webber past. So Matt Webber makes his way up to 11th. And Rob Tilley going very slowly indeed. He's picked up a slowdown. And I think he's picked up a fair chunk of damage as well. Let's have a look and see what's going on here. Oh, wow. Oh, that is a big contact with a wall there. Back of the car completely stepping out on him. And Tilley finds himself off and into the wall. That was Matt Webber that went absolutely flying past him there. And he's now got Oscar Dobbins 4 seconds down. We should jump back to Martin Walker, I think. Because he's still battling with Justice. Tim Pattinson still keeping touch with Buhagiar. And in fact, Pattinson getting very close to Buhagiar indeed. Let's see where he is. So yeah, these two battles within the top 5. And in fact, Nicholas Heath, who started in 2nd, he's got Custodio still chasing him, but they're both all over the back of Adrian Gretsch. So again, pick your poison, folks. Which battle do we concentrate on? We've got 3 at the moment. Buhagiar and Pattinson for 2nd, Justice and Walker for 4th, and then it's Gretsch, Heath and Custodio battling away for 7th position. And we know that Heath has got some pace. He started on the front row of the grid, and he's looking to get himself much closer to there. The 6 places that he has dropped. Oh, and Pattinson's picked up a slowdown. That is going to give Buhagiar some breathing space, and in fact Walker on Justice. Yeah, honestly not sure which one of these battles to watch, but these drivers are incredibly close, and from what we've seen so far, it only takes a split second and it will change drastically for the drivers that we're currently watching. We've got, as I say, Justice and Walker very close, Gretsch, Heath and Custodio within a second and a half as well. So we are 12 laps deep, and they are still bringing the action and the threat of overtakes right throughout the field. You'll love to see a Tasman Racing League race.
Well, there's so much to play for at this late juncture in the season. When we went down the top 10 earlier before the race started, there's just championship implications up and down the order, well, all the way through the top 10 and well past it, right down to the bottom of the standings. Everyone's got something to play for here at this point in the season, and a lot of people are on track right next to drivers with serious championship implications. As we see, looks like Ben Christian now into the pits. He had been up 11 positions. I'm not sure what that was about. Perhaps he had he stopped yet? John, can we check that?
Yes, we can check the pit stops. Let me see. Why has the camera done that?
Oh, Ben's been in twice. He must have had some kind of problem to be coming in again, and that's a shame because he'd moved up from near the back of the pack on the start. I don't think he set a time in qualifying. He was running inside of the top 10. Unfortunate turn of events for the 88 car here late, but he's going to be out of the pits, still within the top 15 it looks like.
Yeah, so he's going to come back out. Sorry, just catching up with some of the cameras. SDK very much doing SDK things. Let's see what Walker can do against Justice. This has been a battle that's been going on for quite a few laps. They are both surviving well. It's Porsche v Porsche. Into the braking zone we go once again. Is Walker going to try something through the chicane? No, he's just keeping it nice and neat. He's looking, he's just applying the pressure to Justice at the moment. We've seen how easy it is to have an incident. You don't even have to make a mistake around this track and you can find yourself off, and at the moment he is trying to force a mistake out the driver ahead. So too Nicholas Heath. Oh, and it's a three-way battle on the way in, and Heath picks up a slowdown penalty. Have we gone more than 200 yards at any point in time, Boone, without someone picking up a slowdown penalty? I don't believe so. I think this might be an absolute record for the number of slowdowns, and Heath is going to lose that position to Custodio. Custodio showing some phenomenal patience to hang behind Heath. Heath picking up the penalty, and Custodio, I think, might pick up the position. No, he won't. Heath hasn't scrubbed that slowed down yet. He's running out of places to do so. He manages to get it done through the tight right-hander, and this has given us a beautiful three-way train, although Walker and Justice are absolutely side by side. He's going to have it up the inside potentially. The outside line has been very successful so far. Takes the inside through the post curves, and that is a very, very, very nice hang there by Walker. Justice still trying to get that position taken, and Nicholas Heath did manage to fend off Custodio. Not only that, he's managed to send one up the inside. That is a terrible exit there by Gretchen. Heath is going to jump all over that one, and he is going to get that done. I'll tell you what, that is some solid driving by Heath there, Boone. He picks up a slowdown penalty, almost loses the position to Custodio. No, Oscar Dobbins has just picked up a drive-through.
Drive-through for Dobbins? Is that going to be on incident count, perhaps? Because if it is on incident count, I think our live stewards might overrule it. They may cancel it out.
Right, okay.
If not, though, I didn't see any other incidents involving Oscar, so I'd imagine that might be what it is.
Yeah, you know, I can't actually see much. Yeah, I mean, he's certainly flown under the radar. He's not popped up on the incident screen so far. So yeah, hopefully that is just an in-game and we can get that one scrubbed from. He's in 12th position at the moment. Matt Webber has made it up to the top 10. I'll tell you what, we're talking about Jeremy Newton having a great drive to get himself up to the front of the field. Matt Webber started in 18th place, got dumped back to 24th, and is now back up to 10th place. So and just as I say that, he's picked up a slowdown. Every time I start talking about a driver, they get a slowdown. So I think what we'll do is we'll let Boone talk for the next 2 laps. I will keep my face shut, and we'll see if the drivers can survive. Let's see if Walker and Justice can do themselves some justice and get more positions taken. Although the battle with Gretsch and
Billy's got a meatball.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it's because he's had a crash.
Oh, he has destroyed the front of that Aston Martin.
Oh no. Oh wow.
That is brutal. I am amazed that that car is moving after that hit. Just the worst possible angle to hit that barrier at. And then he's got traffic coming up behind him too. So
there you go, folks. Don't adjust your sets. You haven't tuned in to Back to the Future. This is not Doc Emmett's car with the wheels parallel to the ground. Oh, and look how difficult it is even to get back into the pits. That is insane. That is a huge crash for Rob Tilley. Huge crash for Rob Tilley. He does make it into the pits and he's made it back out again. That's another driver in the top 3 picking up a slowdown. It's Tim Pattinson this time. Looking to join the slowdown gang. And Justice and Walker, they're still absolutely going for it. Although I think Justice almost redressing the position there. He got a very slow jump out of the corner. Walker has pretty much left him standing. Let's get some gratuitous engine notes from one of the greatest sounding cars of all time. It is, of course, the Mercedes. There is absolutely no mistake in the noise that this car makes, and it is a noise that Custodio's looking to get past Gretsch. It was Heath that he was trying to get his way past, and again Heath served the slowdown penalty and still managed to get himself ahead of Adrian Gretsch and leave these two battling away. There's another slowdown penalty. This time it's for David Carney. He's got a good gap over Brodie Daft though, so he should hold on to that position. Darren Justice we're going to need to come back to, because these two Porsches really are having an absolute ding-dong battle at the minute, and it's the Porsche of Justice that is applying the pressure once again. As Martin Walker got in response to this, he tries to put the car up the inside. It's a brave attempt at manoeuvre. Oh, one runs shallow, one runs deep, and it is Darren Justice that runs through there. He gets that job done. Oh, and we've just had another incident with Stephen Scully. I think he was serving his slowdown penalty, Iron. Oh, and again, exactly where I said it was a tricky part of the track. My good goodness. That is another absolute monster contact with a wall. Again, it's just you look at other tracks and think how unforgiving they are. Chicago yesterday, Bathurst with all the wall. Le Mans, there might be a bit of a gap between the track and the wall, but it doesn't mean you're in any way, shape or form safe from making contact. One slight mistake here and you will carry a lot of momentum into these walls. And as I said earlier, these cars, they do not do well making contact. Those little bits of carbon fibre on the front, they are very, very important to the aerodynamics of the car. And yeah, a lot of the drivers going for the weight reduction strategy of clattering the wall, losing their entire front or back end. And yeah, coming in for some pits, Dave Carney now with a drive through, as well as Jeremy Newton, our race leader, with a yellow flag. We've got a lap and a half left to go. We did talk about him a lot at the start, Boone, but all hail Jeremy Newton, quite frankly. He started in 17th position and he has got himself an 11-second lead over our championship leader, who himself at one point was 5 seconds in the lead. Jeremy Newton has got to surely be absolutely buzzing at this point in time, and an incredible, an absolute landmark performance, I would say, over the season so far.
Well, Jeremy has been the lone survivor here tonight out of our contenders. Everyone else in front of him has hit trouble in some way, shape, or form. He's made a couple excellent overtakes to work his way through the field. He held off Lewis Buhagiar when the pit cycle didn't work out in his favor, and Lewis got back within 2 seconds of his bumper. Lewis was pushing so hard that he ended up making that pretty critical mistake that's dropped him well clear of any contention for the win. And since then, this has just been a well-deserved, gentle drive for Jeremy Newton, but we can't overlook the possibility of him spinning out. We can't say this race is over yet, because we've said this race is over a couple times. We had Lewis Buhagiar domination earlier on, and look where that's gotten us. As Newton almost loses it right there, almost to prove my point. He gets the back of that 42 very, very loose, and you got to just be careful with this car, Jeremy.
Yeah, just bring it home. The song Jeremy by... Oh, can anyone in the chat remind me? Oh, that's Nicholas Heath, another driver who's looked pretty solid. Oh, and he's almost collected Custodio as he makes his way back on the track there. Was it the Smashing Pumpkins that sang Jeremy? Bonus points in the chat. Was it?
I don't know.
Nope, we will. If anyone hasn't heard it, Jeremy, phenomenal song. Go Google it. You will. In fact, no, don't Google it now. Wait till the end of the race, because we've still got another 16 slowdowns, 5 drive-throughs and 6 crashes still to have, because we've got a full lap left to go, and that's pretty much what we've seen per lap. Jeremy Newton absolutely running away with it once again. Just needs to keep this between the mayo and the mustard. He's got a lap and a half left to go to bring home a race win. Lewis Buhagiar as well. He will hopefully have cooled his jets ever so slightly. A couple of self-inflicted unforced errors have made this one a very difficult one for him, but he is going to bring home a podium, as he's currently in a podium position. It's Le Mans. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Tim Pattinson for Team Send It, and he has sent it. He's got himself up 2 spots onto the podium. Modern Justice currently running in 4th place. Matt Webber in the closing stages has picked up a drive through penalty. He's only 34 points ahead. 34 seconds, ahead of Oscar Dobbins. He's only 9 points ahead of Dobbins in the standings. He was about to extend that gap on Dobbins while losing points to Buhagiar, but he's just scrubbed that slowdown penalty. Nicholas Heath on Custodio as Lewis Buhagiar completely ignoring the advice from the commentary boxes. Nicholas Heath has a move and does get that one done on Custodio pretty easily, but yeah, Lewis Buhagiar completely ignoring the commentary box. He has just set the fastest lap of the race, just to remind us how much pace he's got. A 3 minute 54.865. A 3 minute 54 on the penultimate lap. That just goes to show how much of a competitor Buhagiar has been.
I think he's being a competitor to his detriment right now. He had a chance to win this race after everything that he'd been through after all of his domination towards the start. Dropping back down the order, he had a chance to win this race by just overtaking Jeremy Newton. He had several laps to do it. Pushed too hard, spun out, and he continues to push hard. I think back to what you said, John, about how one bird in the hand is worth two birds in the bush, or something along those lines, and I have to imagine Lewis also did not understand that reference because he has not been following that advice today.
He really is not. He really is not. Oh, Martin Walker picking up a slowdown. We've just seen Matt Webber pick up another position as Custodio quickly came out in the pits, and Joe Della Rosa is about to put a move on Oscar Dobbins. So Dobbins might lose himself another position to Webber. He's only one behind Webber at the moment, but one behind him is Joe Della Rosa, and he is looking quick in that Lamborghini. I'm not sure if Dobbins is still feeling the effects, maybe carrying a little bit of damage. Oh, and he's on a wiggle on those curves. He really needs to be careful in that Porsche. That is twitchy, to say the least, on the brakes in there. Bit of separation there. Let's stay on board with Jeremy Newton, though. He's had very little camera time towards the end of the race. He has been a long-time leader here. He's not got long to go and just really needs to keep it nice and calm between the mayo and the mustard and bring home the race win. He's actually got lap traffic behind him. That is Goodfellow, that is directly behind him, and then Buhagiar another 9 seconds down the road. But Newton in the Lamborghini, I tell you what, he is going to be one very, very, very happy driver when we get him into the commentary box at the end. Of course, we'll be having a quick chat with the drivers. I'm going to say a quick chat. We'll try and limit it, but there's been so much going on, it might be difficult to do so. I'd imagine Lewis Buhagiar has got a lot to say about his performance tonight. Tim Pattinson is going to be absolutely delighted. Justice moving quickly still. And Jeremy Newton making his way towards the Porsche curves for the final time of Askin. 15 laps deep into round number 7 of the Tasman Racing League Road Series. And yeah, this one it's going to help Buhagiar. The result here is certainly going to help Buhagiar secure top spot. Jeremy Newton bringing home the maximum number of points, and Buhagiar still on for that fastest lap as well. I don't imagine we'll see Newton pushing the boat out or pushing the envelope here on the final lap. This will probably be one of his slower laps, although that's two wheels on the grass there once again. Does keep it nice and easy. There we go, flashing all the lights. He knows he's on camera, and he knows he's going to be the first driver to see that beloved checkered flag, and I'd imagine he'll be very happy to see the checkered flag. 16 overtakes over the race. He's had his fair share of slowdowns as well, violently over those final curves, and it is Jeremy Newton taking the checkered flag with a 7-second gap after starting in 17th place. And we're raced. Buhagiar sets the fastest lap. On the final lap, he goes even quicker with a 34.6. That is incredible. Pattinson crosses the line to round out the podium. A solid drive for him. Flew under the radar for huge sections of that race, and a deserved podium there.
And Dobbins are battling.
Oh, yes.
Sorry to cut you off, John, but I wanted to watch this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get this one on screen. De La Rosa and Dobbins absolutely going for it in the closing stages, and it's Dobbins. Let me see if we can get some information up on screen now. Across it. There we go. We can get that back. Gretchen Heath both taking the checkered flag. Matt Webber will be the next to do so. Oh, Custodio's pulled over. Is that Custodio?
Custodio.
Yes, so Custodio dropping behind him on the last lap. So these two have both gained a position as Dobbins is trying to gain another position. If he can get Pat. Oh, and he's lost it. He's lost it in the backwash of the slipstream there. Let's get another look at that actually while we're here. We might as well, but Dobbins looking to get himself within one position of Matt Webber, and he just loses it on the curve. Oh, the pain. Della Rosa
had been hunting that overtake down for several laps. He had finally gotten it done there earlier on the lap. Dobbins was trying to fight it back, fighting for every championship point, cognizant of this battle, cognizant of the fact that his two championship rivals have finished inside the top 10 today, and he has not, and just pushing a little bit too hard there. Unfortunate result for the 35 car. Unfortunate result for Rafael Custodio pulling off there a little bit. but excellent for Joe Della Rosa and Ben Christian, who are going to work their way into the top 10 as this race ends.
Daft's just taken a position from Dobbins as well. Dobbins made a meal of that final chicane, and that's put another car between him and his championship rivals as Brodie Daft crosses the line to take that spot ahead of Dobbins. Rob Tilley, who's had a tough race, he will be delighted to see that checkered flag. Ronald Long and David Carney are going to be the final two cars across the line. They are still moving. Jeremy Newton is not. We'll keep the moving cars out on track. But what a race this has been. Tasman Racing League, it never disappoints. This road series has been absolutely electric this season, and the drivers are pretty much all pulling in. So we'll jump back to the studio. We'll get those results up. Let me do this, and we'll have a quick word. Let me see. Yeah, a couple of things in the chat there. We do have some drivers in for some interviews. I'm not sure why we are seeing what we're seeing on screen. Let me get rid of that. So we'll get the full results up in a moment, and we'll get a quick word with the drivers. That is the one thing about racing around here. It does take a while to finish that last lap, and that is the qualifying results. Just a quick reminder there, but there is the classified results. It is Jeremy Newton taking the top spot. Lewis, championship leading Buhagiar, manages to recover from a couple of off-track incidents to see himself secure a podium, 17 seconds ahead of Tim Pattinson, who is on the podium, I believe, for the first time this season. Justice Walker and Gretsch, 4th through 6th. Heath in 7th. More importantly for Lewis Buhagiar, Matt Webber down in 8th place. Della Rosa in 9th. It's Christian rounding out the top 10. Then Scully, Custodio, Daft and Dobbins through to 14th. Rob Tilley in 15th with Long Carney, Goodfellow, Douglas and Vliestra. Douglas and Vliestra not finishing the race. We had quite a few drivers not make it to the end there. Lucas Blake, Jordan Nelson, Dale Horn, Jay Stern and Jack Tovey all out the race. In fact, Jack Tovey out on lap 1, Stern on lap 2, Horn and Nelson out on lap number 3. That is how difficult this course is, folks. Even the quickest drivers up at the top really finding it difficult to get the job done. Let me just see if I can actually get the drivers up. We'll go with Tim Pattinson first, who is indeed in the commentary box to join us for an interview. Good evening, Tim. That was quite the interesting race around there. You've managed to bring yourself home a podium after gaining 2 spots and qualifying. So much going on in that race. How was that out there for you today?
Look, for me, that opening lap was pretty out of control. There was cars going everywhere. No, it was a great race. Well done to Jeremy and Lewis. They just had so much more pace than me. So I'm pretty stoked to be hanging on for 3rd outright and 1st in the AM class. So to have 2 AM class wins in the series with drivers like this is pretty cool. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, to make it up onto the overall podium and to get, of course, as you say, the AM class win. Absolutely no mean feat. How was your pit strategy out there? We saw a lot of drivers coming in pretty much bang on lap number 7, but of course with all the incidents that we saw out on track, it was it was anyone's call as to who was doing what out there. How was your pit strategy affected by everything that was going on out there?
Look, the question mark of whether a safety car would come out certainly was hanging around in the back of the head, but I guess it came back to just trying to split the fuel loads just so you didn't have a really heavy car for that second stint. Obviously, it changes the weight around a fair bit, so just tried to hang out there as long as I could, but couldn't make one more lap, unlike some of the other cars, I think. So, yeah, just went as long as I could on that first stint, filled her up and just went to the end and took it easy for a few laps. But, yeah, it was good fun trying to chase down Jeremy and Lewis, but they were way too quick. So, good job, boys.
Yep, they are indeed quick, and that is a good result to get this close to the end of the season. We've got the Red Bull Ring up next, Tim. How are you feeling ahead of that one?
I haven't done any laps there, so I got to get some practice in. So, just keep taking it lap after lap, keep taking round after round, and we'll see where we end up. No pressure, no expectations. Let's just have a crack and see where we end up. So, hope my kids are asleep, and thanks for my wife for letting me come out and do this yet again. And thanks for my spotter tonight, Dale Horn, who unfortunately was out fairly early. So his loss is my benefit because he was able to spot me out there a fair bit and just keep my head on my shoulders, which he also did for the Road Atlanta AM class win. So thanks, Dale.
Yeah, nice one. And yeah, thank you for jumping in, Tim. Congratulations on the AM class win and the overall podium. A phenomenal drive there, folks. That was Tim Patterson, as we see, finishing in third. Finishing in second place after what can only be described as a dream start and a difficult middle and end is Lewis Buhagiar. He does extend the gap up to the top of the field with Dobbins and Webber finishing a few positions down. But Lewis, to say that you put on some entertainment for the fans tonight was somewhat of an understatement. I don't imagine that was the race you were envisaging after the opening couple of laps.
No, certainly not. Had a bit of a technical error where my middle screen went black just as I was turning in for that Porsche curve, and so I couldn't see where I was going and crashed, obviously. So I decided to come into the pit lane and thought I'd still be alright and in a pretty good spot. And then, yeah, I knew I had a decent gap to the car behind, and so I could go a little bit harder and just spun it. So no big deal. I don't think I would have caught Jeremy anyway. He was really quick out there, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, and we'll have to ask Lewis, from a competitive side, just talk to us about the competitive side. Now, I've been using this phrase, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. No one seems to know what it means. Basically, you've got a prize in your hand, which was second place. The potential for the two birds, which was first place, was still there, but is it worth risking everything and losing everything? You were still clocking the fastest laps going into the final couple of laps, so still pushing all the way to the end. Was there any point in time you thought to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to take this easy and bring it home in second? Or is that just not the way? Clearly that's not the way you're wired, because you were absolutely going for it right down to the final flag.
Oh yeah, I wasn't pushing too hard after that second spin. I was just driving comfortably. I wasn't going too hard. I certainly wasn't going soft, but yeah, you sort of got to weigh everything up. Obviously Matt had a bit of a difficult race, and that's who I'm racing for the championship, so I'm certainly not going to throw the car into the wall trying to win the race.
Indeed, yeah, and one of my all-time favourites next week, of course, it is the Red Bull Ring. The hills will be alive with the sound of exhaust pipes. How are you feeling going into that one?
Yeah, Red Bull Ring's a cool track. I don't really have much experience there with GT3 cars, so I might do a couple of laps this week and we'll see how we go. Maybe just clock a top 5 and we'll see how we end up.
Indeed, yeah. Well, your championship lead has been extended. We'll get the full update on the points next week. Another phenomenal podium and the fastest lap to your name. The pace you've got in this Porsche was absolutely incredible. And again, setting the fastest lap of the race on the last lap of the race. Competitor to the end, Lewis. Congratulations once again, and very much looking forward to the Red Bull Ring next week.
Thanks for that, John. Thanks for the commentary, and congratulations to Jeremy Newton and Tim Patterson.
Indeed, yeah. And speaking of Jeremy Newton, he does now join us from the top spot, and I've already declared this one, Jeremy. That has got to be the drive of the season by any driver. 16 places, no quali time set, wins the race. Talk to us about qualification first. Did you just make mistakes in quali, or was the plan to start at the back, avoid the inevitable Le Mans carnage and run away with it, or did you just make a few mistakes in quali and not get a time set? What happened there?
Yeah, so no. First of all, good evening, John. Good evening, Boone. No, there was not a plan to start from that far back, unfortunately. Basically, what happened was I caught one of the other drivers during my quali lap. I just got a little bit close to him leading into Indianapolis, and he braked a lot earlier than I normally do. So that sort of sent me into a nice spin into the wall. And it left me, unfortunately, only 6 minutes to do 2 laps. So I just was like, no, I'm not going to bother. I'll just start from wherever the game puts me and try and make it up from there.
Well, and make it up you did, as I say, 16 places to get up, and you were involved in some absolutely incredible battles. I would definitely make sure you go back and watch the broadcast, because we caught quite a few of them. One of the overtakes you made into the Porsche curve, that's going on a highlight reel. That is going on Rob Tilley's next intro video, I can assure you. With Lewis running away with it, he was 5 seconds ahead. You still managed to claw that back with everything that was going on around, and you yourself even picked up some slowdown penalties here and there. How was the race overall? I mean, how was the Le Mans circuit tonight? Because we have seen an absolute raft of drive-throughs and incidents out there.
To be honest with you, there's only one real corner that I struggled with, and that was the fast right-hander onto the first start of the Mulsanne. The Lambo has, obviously everybody knows, has a tendency to snap oversteer sometimes, and there was a couple of times where it forced me off. Yeah, look, to be honest with you, the slowdowns weren't that prevalent. I thought I was going to have a few more of those, and there was one, obviously, the end of the Ford curves or the Porsche curves, whichever ones they are. As the tyre started to come off, you touch the outside there with your front right, and they give you a penalty for no reason, really. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Those were my two areas of concern, and to be honest with you, I think I did quite well to avoid taking too many time penalties, because those are the killer around here, especially down the straights. You get 1.3 seconds worth of penalty, and all of a sudden somebody that was 4 seconds behind you is now right on top of you again.
Indeed, yeah, it was swings and roundabouts right throughout the field. Now, you've won this race here, so obviously back-to-back wins. It's Red Bull next time out, and the Lambo's not too shabby around Red Bull Ring, if I remember correctly. So how are you looking forward to that?
To be honest, I've never driven the Lambo at Red Bull Ring. Not that I can remember in recent memory anyway, and it's certainly not since the tyre update. But yeah, it is a track that's going to suit the car. I can already see that coming. It really just depends on the fixed setup that gets given to the car. To be honest with you, it's very easy to see this car at other tracks where we've got the fixed setup. It struggles in a straight line, but that's not the case when you're giving it the Le Mans setup in this car is great, obviously. To be fair, it was quite good in a straight line. I haven't really driven it anywhere else where it has been so good in a straight line, I must say.
Well, yeah, it certainly did wonders in a straight line and through the curves tonight. We actually did have someone in the chat as well. Druza1243 saying, "Go Jeremy, about time." So there you go. You've got cheered on in the chat as well.
That would have been Drew Collins, one of our teammates, obviously at Valhalla. He often can't race, make our road races because of just his work commitments. I was surprised. I wanted to see if Robbie Disco, Kieran, was in there again tonight, but I'm not sure. But we've already had a little celebration in our Discord channel, and I think that'll continue for a little bit longer as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Well, 16 places and a race win around Le Mans is a phenomenal achievement tonight, Jeremy. So huge congratulations on tonight's performance and clocking up so many overtakes, and absolutely cannot wait to see what you do at the Red Bull Ring and indeed for the rest of the season.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. I just want to thank, obviously, Tim Pattinson. Again, another great showing for the AM class. I don't really think he'll be in the M class much longer there, my friend. And also, Lewis, I would have preferred to have been racing you all the way to the end, but obviously hardware stuff we can't often help. And I know that black screen issue has played quite a lot of drivers this season, not just here, but around about the traps. So it's unfortunate that that's happened, but I think it probably would have been a lot better for the fans if we managed to go the whole 15 laps nose to tail.
Yes, it would have. But the feast of overtakes we were served was absolutely phenomenal. So, thank you for that anyway. But yeah, that was Jeremy Newton joining us from the top spot of the podium and capping off a phenomenal performance. And Boone, I've said it before, I will say it again, I'm like a broken down record. You cannot argue with the racing that gets put on here at Tasman Racing League, and with the Le Mans curbs and the in-game steers with a slowdown. It made an absolute spectacle for us here at round number 7.
Well, that was a very exciting race. Just anytime all three of your championship contenders sort of fall by the wayside, it's going to be an exciting race. Congratulations to all of our drivers tonight, especially our 3 drivers on the podium, but especially Jeremy Newton. Great win tonight and a long time coming for him. We'll see everyone next time out at the Red Bull Ring as this championship continues to get towards its conclusion. Louis Buhadra trying to hold on, defending from Matt Weber and Oscar Dobbins.
Indeed, yeah, the championship standings are going to be some interesting reading next week, and certainly in the favour of Behadjar with not many rounds left to go. Well, that is all we have got time for from the middle of France. There we go, SDK just freezing on me once again. This was round number 7, brought to you live on TrackSpotTV. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Thank you to Tasman Racing League for putting on the series. Thank you to Rob Tilley for the intro video. He's got his little picture on there. I cannot get that off. And a huge thanks to Boone for joining me in the commentary box. I believe we will have Ewan O'Leary back next week, hopefully feeling better soon. Ewan, if you do happen to be watching, all the best. See you back when you are good and ready. But as I say, that is all we've got time for here today. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes on the TrackSpot TV channel. Make sure you do hit that thumbs up to let us know that you enjoyed that. And we'll be back, of course, next week. But until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.